Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Queen J Lotus King Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, certainly, for part two of our loud, queer, feminine, sacred rage messages from the Aries time 7 energy transits, activity, happenings of it all going on. I'm gonna make sure to put the playlist link into the comment section, description box, all that, so you can make sure that you all caught up and keeping track. Another way you can make sure that you all caught up and keeping track is to go ahead and subscribe, honey. We got all types of things going on around here. Okay, I don't just do readings, but I also do reviews and commentaries and acting videos, dance videos, all of the things. All right. And without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the specificities of what this here video is covering, which is a follow-up topic from one of the messages that came out in particularly the first collective from the first video of this installment. All right. So those messages on this particular topic had to do with beautiful bullshit and beautiful bullshit TERS. People who have whatever level of high intellect, therefore an ability to speak very well, have great charisma, you know? And it's not to be confused with someone being book smart or having like, certain types of common sense or anything of that nature. Because people who are sociopaths, they may be like extremely numb in some cases. So for instance, you could say R. Kelly has a lot of sociopathic ways and tendencies. However, he cannot read. He is illiterate. All the while, he's a musical genius and seems like he has some sort of genius level ability to mentally and emotionally and even sexually and spiritually abuse mass amounts of people at a time, let alone one by one. See what I'm saying? So, you can also say that a lot of the things he's been able to accumulate turn out to be beautiful bullshit, much like him making romanticized sex songs that are actually about him sexually abusing people. Okay, that's beautiful bullshit. You are serving shit, calling it chocolate cake, and able to convince people to ignore the smell. Which can also be called evoking and exercising toxic positivity, preying on people who are so desperate for good news or something good to happen, a miracle, something wondrous, something magical type shit, and selling them dreams and making it seem like you're fulfilling them the whole time. It's beautiful bullshit. It's posh prisons. Uh, think about Bad Girls Club and those homes, of course, before all of the fights and shit would happen. But those homes would be big and beautiful looking, have all types of crazy, cool decor and all the things. But also in their living arrangements, they ain't had no doors. They didn't have no privacy for real, and they were getting paid crumbs. They didn't have a whole lot of amenities. They didn't have, access to their phones. Um, there were only two vehicles to seven girls. Like the circumstances were posh prison-esque. And if I'm not mistaken, in hindsight, some producers even described it as that, or it may have been in the midst of the show still being ongoing. But yeah, those girls were living in posh prisons where everything around him is beautiful, but the actuality of the circumstances is hell. It's prison. So, um, again, to get, further into the specificities and, what is being meant by the topic that we're focusing on today, of course, like I said, make sure that you caught up on the previous video. Okay, go over there, pick your pal, or you can watch both pals, all of that, get yourself all nice and caught up. All right. Uh, Angela, hey, if you just want to catch up right here, that's your prerogative, honey. But like I said, you may also, okay, I ain't saying that you is. We're gonna see where the messages come out from the cards. Goddamn, okay. But all the while, it's a chance that the messages could come up saying that, any members of this collective could have some taught tendencies of beautiful bullshit. Doesn't mean that you're a sociopath, doesn't mean that you're a bad person or anything. Just spirit bringing to your attention certain things that may be being mirrored to you, and or certain things that you may be doing out of habit, out of how your parents or certain circumstances and situations may have ended up impressing upon you as a way to function and or perform through life and your relationships, things of that nature. Another word for that could be trauma responding. Okay, and so I feel like this will also shed light on the fact that trauma responding is not always loud. Even though we're talking about loud feminine energy here, I have a strong feeling that some of these messages are going to be tapping into some explanations and clarifications on the fact that trauma responding is not always loud and crazy and rambunctious or blatantly dramatic. Sometimes it's very subtle, very quiet, very what seems to be normal and or what we have been taught is normal. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it at that for this good old intro. And without further ado, I ain't gonna waste no more time. I'm gonna go ahead and get right into the cricks and crannies of these cards. All right. For this installment of Loud Queer Feminine Sacred Rage messages from the Aries times 7 energy, transits, happenings, activity of it all, specifically focused on what is the beautiful bullshit and who are the beautiful bullshit TERS that are in this collective's lives. Plentiful title for a plentiful read. All right, so now let's get it. For the who and what of it all straight at the gate, we have the representation from the Love and Money Oracle, which is decisiveness over to the left of them and independence in reverse over to the right of them. The cards in the middle are clarifiers, confirmers, and elaborators, and they are from the Millennial Tarot. And we got to the left of them the blue card, which is the Six of Fields, Six of Cups, Six of Water, aka Throwback, is in reverse. And then over to the right of them, that paint card right there is the Chariot, aka Van Life, and it's right side up. Now let's get into these love and money cards, talking about the who and the what. The Sisyphus card is tapping more so into the who, and the Independence card that's in reverse is tapping more so into the what. So we're gonna start with the who. So back over to the left of them. Sisyphus has to do with the concept of pushing something big, heavy, and burdensome up to a top of a tall, big ass hill just for it to roll back down, and now you got to do it all back over again. And what comes up when I say that is why? What's the point? If it's so burdensome and it's so like you keep getting it up to the top of the hill and it rolls back down, what you still doing it for? It's giving waste of time. It's giving wasting time, energy, space, all that. So I'm gonna read what's on the card. Like Sisyphus, endlessly pushing a boulder up the hill only for it to roll back down, making endless sacrifices for someone who doesn't appreciate it. A hopeless cycle of exertion and defeat. Okay, so I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna go off bullet point because I said we was gonna tackle both the love and money card first, but it's channeling to me to veer off that track because this has very strikingly similar same type messaging and energy of the Six of Fields in reverse, where this is a person who is stuck in the past. This is a person or people who have dreams deferred, meaning that they wanted to do, like when they were younger, they had all these dreams and aspirations of doing very adventurous, lively things with their lives, like more than just working at a desk for the rest of their lives. They probably wanted to be entrepreneurs. They may have wanted to be performing artists. They may have wanted to be travel agents or something of the sort, agriculturalists and things of that nature. But for whatever reason, they stopped themselves and they convinced themselves that either they didn't deserve it or they couldn't do it or something happened and they let that stop them. And so it's giving that this person or these people that are in your life that represent this, they end up acting that out by fear mongering you and instilling fear in you or dousing you whenever it's given really in general, but especially when you talk to them about your dreams and aspirations or things that you want to do. Even I'm hearing like someone being heavily critical of the people that you date or who you are in a relationship with, live with, and or if y'all are gonna get married, like it's all of this shit, like, oh, you sure you want to do that? Or, oh, he doing a lot of this, he doing a lot of that, he always in the club. I heard. Okay, that's not a coincidence. That's like the type shit that it be given, and it's definitely hater energy, and it's also them acting out with other people, especially people like you how they treat themselves. That's how they treat themselves. That's how they talk to themselves. That's how they relate to themselves. And so that's again another reason why it's heavily important to take ownership over self, and why spirit keeps reiterating through all the different like readings and all of that shit that I've been doing, and even just in casual conversations of how it always starts with self. Everything is not your fault. However, it is highly important, and everything not being your fault is another reason why it's so important to have ownership over yourself and to know, have a sense of knowing of your ownership, your self-image, and who you are, and what you represent to yourself, and what you want to represent to other people, and what other people and things represent to you. Because if and when you come up in situations where things are not your fault, you need to be able to see that clearly so that you are not taking on guilt that is not yours that can end up getting you put in other tons of fucked up situations that it was totally redundant and not your fault. But now you taking accountability for it because you weren't clear on yourself accounting. You weren't clear on accounting for yourself amongst the fact of knowing when you are wrong and how to properly be wrong without being a slave to the wrong of it all, without taking on unnecessary guilt, let alone wearing the guilt on yourself as an identity and as a reason why you should not press forward on your dreams and aspirations. Because that may be a thing about this person or these people that are the beautiful bullshitters in your life and that are representing this person and people who are like stuck in the past and stuck in the mud and have basically deferred their own dreams. It's very likely that something happened. They did something that they ended up either they were the blame for it rightfully and or they got blamed for it and they just claimed that over themselves and they never allowed themselves to forgive themselves one way or another or release that guilt one way or another because guilt can be, and this is the thing, a lot of people are going around projecting their guilt onto other people as a form of like trying to destiny swap. Because be it mindlessly or mindfully, everybody knows that there is no triumphing in the frequency of guilt. The frequency of guilt is like a sinking sand, an anchor around your leg in the ocean type shit. You cannot flourish in guilt. So even if you are guilty for something, it's highly important that you process that frequency for the sake of releasing it. And this is why even if you go through situations or somebody betrays you or does something to you, when you start accounting for yourself, not blaming yourself because it's not your fault that someone else is fucked up and fucked over you, at the same time, you're going to have to come back to self and account for self and how you're going to recover. And if you allow yourself to get stuck there, then what? You have nobody to blame but yourself. Because a part of loving yourself unconditionally is taking the time out to sort through whatever it is that you need to sort through to figure out what different situations and people and things that the universe, God, the Most High, is using to try and teach you something or get you to teach yourself something about yourself. Or, eventually you end up being that example or that teacher to other people concerning the subject. So, again, in simple terms, somebody do something to you. It's your responsibility to recover and heal yourself. You are responsible for your own healing. It's senseless. Of course, it's very normalized for people to victim blame and all of that shit, and it teaches people to victim blame themselves. So again, it's not your fault if someone else betrays you or fucks over you and this and that. That is not. You don't need to account for that. You don't need to blame yourself for that. You need to account for the contributing factors that landed you to being in that situation, which may mean that you go through your memories and recollect, which is what the number six represents. Also, we're dealing with the six of fields here. Okay, the number six is about reflection, recollection, sorting through your memories, all of that shit. So you may sort through your childhood and your relationship with your parents and realize, oh, this type thing happened between me and my parents. So my parents instilled this mindset into me. And that's why, when push came to shove, I operated this way in this other relationship. But operating that way with this person landed me in heartbreak, or it landed me traumatized, or it landed me in jail, or, whatever fucked up situation. And again, their actions are not your fault, but you owe it to yourself. And that's what, again, what loving yourself unconditionally is. You owe it to yourself to still reevaluate and see what were the contributing factors. And again, it may not be anything that you did wrong. It may be the people that you did it with, okay, or the people that you gave it to. You feel me? So coming to those realizations, even to that front, makes a huge difference on how you move going forward, getting your lessons. You feel me? So this can easily be misconstrued, like when people are getting talked into relationships or talked into staying in relationships, because all of the attention goes to, well, if we're gonna do this, then we gotta forgive each other and da 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 da. But you're not even understanding what forgiveness is, because you haven't taken the time out to really evaluate your own self-love frequency. You can't forgive for real if you don't understand what love is for real, let alone loving unconditionally. And you don't have to be in a relationship with somebody to love them. Sometimes the best way to love somebody is from a distance. Sometimes the best way to love somebody is to leave them, because it just don't work. Is, again, why are you doing it for? If it's so burdensome and it's just all this recreation of trauma over and over and over again, what are you doing it for? So yeah, dog. So I have to also, because nothing's a coincidence when I start channeling and all that. So now that it has settled, I have to make y'all aware and acknowledge the fact that's a part of spiritual hygiene, to acknowledge. Okay, so that's not a coincidence, but yeah, to acknowledge how much distraction came up when I was trying to, not even when I was trying to, is I was delivering that message, that whole sequence of messaging that just came through. There was so much interference trying to get me to lose my train of thought, allow myself to get distracted and upset and all that shit. Even right now, as I'm saying this, is happening again. And um, again, I'm acknowledging it for the spiritual hygiene of it all. I'm rebuking the dog fuck out of that interference and distracting ass energy. And to elaborate on what the universe is guiding me to relate to y'all, is it concerns that is this person or people are trolls. They live to distract you. They are misery loves company as people, and they want to drag you down in the mud with them. They are the epitome of someone who gets caught up in, like, let's say that they're a part of this whole racketeering type of situation, and they could be the leaders. Oh, it's showing me Nino Brown, honey, from New Jack City. If you know, you know. But they can literally be the leaders of the whole organization, and they get caught, right? And then they will just start snitching on everybody and telling things, like even making up lies about other people who they just feel like should go down with them. And this is coming up for someone or some people specifically that, and this may be, it was some other messages from the previous video that was talking about uh the real villains needing to be exposed, and that the real villains are going to be exposed. And I'm sure this has to do with it, but like, yeah, somebody has been getting caught up in their shit. Someone or somebody has been getting caught up in their shit. The chickens are coming home to roost, and they are lying on you and saying you were a part of it and you did this and you did that, or you influenced them to do this and that and the third and all that. And it's all to bring you down with them. And then other scenarios are, it's something in your mind where you know, whether they said it or not, but you know that if you leave these people behind, this person or these people behind, or if you thoroughly choose yourself and go off and fulfill your dreams and your aspirations and everything that you really want to do, you know that they're going to be destitute. You know that their life is going to fall apart because you're one of the only things that is basically, they're reaping benefits of your good karma and convincing you that you're the villain. And hold that thought, right? And they're trying to convince other people that you're the villain whole time. The only reason why they got an ounce of goodness going on in their lives is because they are sitting up, holding up residence, squatting in your fucking good karma. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch? Okay. And so again, you have this knowing that if you leave them behind, if and when you leave and finally choose yourself and embark on the path that you're meant to, that their life is going to start falling apart and they're going to blame you. They're going to be pissed off. They're going to try to, start turning it. They already doing that, but it's going to get loud. Them trying to turn people against you and say that you the reason why shit ain't going right for them, or you stole his, or you did that, and da 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 da. You know that they're going to start doing a smear campaign on you. And this is something also that is holding you back. And to some degree, they know that they're holding it over your head to whatever degree successfully. And so this goes into, remember what I said at the beginning and giving a description, that these are people who have a high level of intelligence, not to be confused with intellect. They have a high level of intelligence in some sort of way. And it's coming up that this person or these people have a high level of intelligence in being able to sprout beautiful bullshit in the form of words and energy transfers to convince people to think and feel however they want them to think and feel. And so this is Cancer energy. And both the Six of Cups in reverse and the Chariot are Cancer cards. And so what we're speaking on right now is unevolved Cancer energy. You could say toxic Cancer energy, actually. Because unevolved can be one thing, toxic is something else. Toxic can be evolved. Okay, so when we're talking about high intelligence and operation of it, that's more evolved energy. So these are very evolved, abusive type of energies. It's toxic feminine energy. And again, that's why I said they are very dark empathic. They are very good at influencing other people's thoughts and feelings. And that's a part of the drag that they've been having on y'all and the anchor that they have been having on y'all, is their supreme ability to influence other people's thoughts and emotions. And that's what they've been doing to you all as well, convincing you all that you are them, convincing you that you're manipulative, that you're conniving, that you're a thief, that you're a criminal, that you're a villain, that you're abusive, that you're sorry, that you're a bum, that you won't ever amount to anything. That and that's why I said keep that in mind about the good karma stuff. So a lot of you have probably been through a ton of shit. I'm saying probably very loosely, but very certainly, honestly, it's given that a lot of you have been through absolute hell. You done died and been born again, 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 and has gone through purgatories and purgatories and purgatories and purgatories, all while living in this life. Okay, tower moment, tower moment, tower moment, ego death, ego death, ego death, dark night of soul, dark night of soul, dark night of soul. You really just now coming into effortlessly stopping and smelling the roses of it all, type shit. Um, your nervous system is finally regulating appropriately, type shit. You feel me? So amongst this, things, terrible things that have happened to you that these people know about, as well as even certain current struggles that have been going on with you, or even if just in the past 2 to 3 years you've dealt with a lot of severances, loss in any type of way, shifting jobs, moving, any type of stressors, health issues, anything of that nature, betrayals, relationship issues, all of that. However it resonates for you. I'm also hearing like car troubles, car accidents, run-ins with the law, shit like that. And this person or these people are running around thinking to themselves, telling other people in so many words that that's your bad karma. Like anything that they know about you that has been a mishap or anything, be it old, new, recent, or anything. First of all, you could have like so much good shit going on with your life. Like I said, a lot of y'all have finally come into nervous system regulation and some form of divine peace. You're much further than where you have been, type shit. You're not just healing, you're actually experiencing what it is to be healed. And what's crazy is they know it, and that's a part of why they're trying to highlight so many other negatives, anything negative and flawed that has going on with you or is going on with you. That's literally why, because they're projecting imposter syndrome on you, and they're trying to convince you that you're not real, that your growth is not real, that your healing is not real, that the opportunities and victories that are coming to you, the love, the money, the blessings that are coming to you, that you're experiencing and that you are, they're trying to convince you that it's not real. Again, all while they're sitting up squatting and benefiting from your good karma. They're trying to convince themselves and convince you and convince other people that any little flaw and even traumas where you're about to get, and this is a part of it, there are traumas and betrayals and catastrophic experiences and things of that nature that you've experienced where you are totally innocent. You are literally an innocent bystander, a whole victim. Really, you're a victor despite the situation. But as it concerns the situation and what happened, you are the victim, period. And they're trying to convince you and other people that that's what you get, that's your bad karma for having a big mouth and for having an attitude or for being sneaky or whatever the fuck it is that they're making up about you and want so bad to be real about you. Child. And this is also the type of person or people who they can see something flawed about you or whatever. Like, let's say y'all live together and you leave your shoes in the middle of the floor somewhere, or you left some dishes in the sink, or whatever at some point, or you took a shower and you left some towels in there or some clothes in there or whatever. They will highlight that, whether it be it jokingly or aggressively or whatever, passive aggressively or whatever. They will not let you hear the end of it, or even they may even bring up, they may constantly bring up certain embarrassing stuff, like if y'all grew up together, went to school together, or anything like that. They may bring up embarrassing moments or randomly post unappealing, what's it called, it undesirable, unflattering. They may randomly, sporadically just send you or post unflattering photos of you online, or they may send it to your phone, like, oh, remember this, like um stuff that was like unbecoming, or like I say, unflattering, embarrassing, and stuff like that. It could be from way in the past, this and that. They won't let you let it go. They'll bring it up sporadically to constantly, throw it in your face and joke about it and hold it over your head and all this and that. Like, oh, remember when we was at the water park and you came out the pool with your pants hanging down, like da 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 da. Or you remember your ex who was always cheating on you and always fucking on them other girls and this and that. Oh, I saw them this and that. Like anything that is unflattering, triggering, embarrassing, shit like that. It's like they always are bringing it up. They're always bringing it up. They always got to let you know when they seen such and such from your past. They always got to post and send you, like I said, unflattering pictures of yourself, or bringing up, like I said, certain stuff that was embarrassing, unbecoming, regressive, or whatever from the past. Or you can literally just not respond however they expect you to respond. And then they're like, see, I remember I should have known from 10 years ago when you would do da da da. And you're like, bro, 10 years ago, or they'll say some shit like that happened 30 years ago, or whatever, what have you, some shit that is way, way, way on back when, that you probably don't even think about no more because you're so far beyond it. You've grown so far beyond it, but they keep trying to keep you stuck in the past because they stuck in the past. And amongst, they steady trying to convince you and other people that you're not real and that your growth is not real, your healing is not real, your success and these blessings that's coming through is not real. Because what's crazy is they know that they're about to be exposed one way or another, and they know that you got blessings and like karmic retribution, good karmic retribution that is on its way to you for how even they themselves have been fucking you over this whole time. And that is a huge reason as to why they're working double overtime. They ain't even getting no sleep at night. They ain't even getting no sleep at night for real, because they're literally up at night trying to find ways to monitor you so that they can find ways to different strategies and all of this to steady try to convince you that whatever is good going for you and is good about yourself, that is not real, because they are bound to self-destruct once the sun comes out on their bullshit. And especially when you officially remove yourself and going about your business, and them chickens really start coming home to roost and the cows really start to jump over the moon, honey, they gonna be sick, down on their luck, back against the wind. Okay, sis. So I think that was enough description on that, and we can get on over to the what's of it all. And we can definitely bet that the chariot is gonna go on here along with the independence card here. And I came with an independence card. So this is definitely representing you all. Okay, this has more to do with personal things with you all and your relationship with yourself, and I'm hearing your relationship with your heart's passion. Which also clarifies and confirms to me that if you did choose group 2 on the previous video, you can still resonate with these messages. So yeah, the independence card is in reverse, and it reads: the walls built for protection now isolate, blurring the line between independence and loneliness. Our different visions caused a rift, leaving me feeling misunderstood in my pursuit of independence. Tisk. All right, all right. So this card is representing that some beautiful bullshit in your life is, of course, indeed, some trauma responding, specifically concerning and associated with isolating yourself, reclusing, even dissociating to a fault. So it's a time and a place to go into hermit mode, of course. And some people are more introverted. And of course, the more spiritually in tune you are, the more time and space you need to yourself. what spirit is communicating is happening here and has been happening is, so for instance, whoever this person or people are, um, they have isolated themselves. And again, these may be the types of people that play victim a lot. They may come to you a lot like your savior, like they always need you to save them from something, resolve something for them, damsel in distress ass activity type shit, or even the type of people that is always like, oh my gosh, they are after me, all these people after me, like they're a victim in the whole, and you can resonate with it because it's been your reality that people have gone out of their way to attack you and gang up on you and shit like that. So this trauma responsive type of thing where it's easy for someone to convince you to come to their rescue, and it's been easy for someone to convince you that circumstances are defeating them because you're being genuinely empathetic with, like, man, I've been through that for real and I remember how I felt, da da da. And spirit is saying that you need to remember how you functioned despite what was going on. You need to remember how you didn't function in a defeatist mentality, how you took accountability for yourself and did not let those circumstances become your identity or your lifestyle. Having certain, trauma responses and triggers and shit like that, that's a natural response to, you know, experiencing shit that's traumatic. So you having to give yourself more permission to be human. And because you've been dehumanized so much by so many different people, that when people humanize themselves to you, like us bringing up sinners, the vampires, how they were obviously creepy on some shit, but then they would have moments of humanizing themselves to play on the empathy and emotions of whoever they're preying on, and playing on the commonalities of experience in order to form some toxic solidarity with them. So that's like what's been going on with y'all. And whoever comes up for you, and I'm sure a lot of y'all already have whoever this person or people is in mind, pay attention to the fact that they may always be alone. They may often hit you up like, I don't have no one else to talk to, or you're the only one that I have. Da, 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 da. They're so a part of how they have been going about having this influence on how you think and feel is also influencing you to isolate yourself as a trauma response. And to some degree, like, it's coming up as a warning. To some degree, y'all have been isolating yourselves through work. Y'all have been isolating yourselves through just staying cooped up in the house and not going nowhere, not allowing yourselves to interact with anyone and have new experiences or things of that nature. Or you've been isolating yourself to the same old activities and stuff that you used to do, despite the fact that you know that it's not even doing the same thing for you as it used to do. It don't even feel the same no more, but you just steady doing it because some part of you is afraid to branch out because on one hand, it's like you gotten so used to having all the answers and always knowing how the story will end, always being able to predict how everything is going to go. But since you really are in a new space and you really have been growing and healing, a lot of the shit is new, and a lot of things that you would branch out to do would be new. It'd be stuff that you have no choice but to trial and error through certain things. Certain flaws would end up showing because it's new. Certain things will be imperfect because it's new. You can't micromanage the whole process or let alone predict how it may end. You can't predict how certain people may react to your flaws showing now in this space, and it's creating a lot of fear. So some part of you keeps grasping hold and latching to outdated habits, outdated mindsets, outdated responses to things and people and situations. And so that's also why the card reads, I'm gonna read it again. The walls built for protection now isolate. Blurring the line between independence and loneliness. Our different visions caused a rift, leaving me feeling misunderstood in my pursuit of independence. And this brings back up those messages and things that have been talking about. Get into a place of pursuing your heart's passions and your needs and desires from a place of genuine self-love, and not because you're on defense or you're in fear, you're running from something, or you're trying to get ahead of some conflict. And like it brings up like Amy Luciani and the situation with Dwight Howard, but specifically when Amy was doing this commentary talking about in her experience as a new wife, she's learned that sometimes you just need to shut up and of course choose your battles, but you just need to shut up and da 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 da. And what Spirit is saying with it is that that is, for one, like, not good advice in simple terms, and it's because it's too much fear functioning and trying to avoid conflict that is inevitable. Again, of course, shit don't have to be so hard, but at the same time, even it's bringing up Jump in the Broom, where TD Jakes told them, yeah, y'all could be soulmates, but you don't need to have this rose colored vision of what a soulmate is. Sometimes your soulmates will challenge you as well. And y'all will have arguments. Y'all will show each other your flaws and such like that. So it's not that you need to avoid arguments. It's not that you don't need to have any flaws. It's not that you need to avoid making mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. The point is to assure and prioritize, making sure that you have people in your life that you are safe to do that with and that show you that you are safe to do that with. And my God, I hope that y'all are caught up on the first part because these are follow-up messages as fuck from that first part for real. And these are also piggybacking off of the messages from the first video that was talking about being real about your emotions and being more real with yourself about your emotions. Because a part of the reason why there's so much fear and uncertainty around associating with other people, being vulnerable with other people, allowing yourself to get to know new people and new adventures and experiences and all that is because you can't truly know who is really for you if you don't allow them to be challenged by you. And this don't mean that you go out of your way to test them. This means that you be yourself. You allow yourself to be your authentic self, for better or for worse, be it good or bad. And this is how you get to see. So for the most part, y'all have learned a hell of a lot about terrible people and what it's like to be yourself around terrible people, to be vulnerable and make mistakes around terrible people. And God is trying to show you also, because apparently y'all have gotten to know what it's like to be successful and victorious and great amongst terrible people as well. And so that could also be why there's this frequency of defeat that is haunting you all, because to some degree you feel defeated, you feel disappointed and defeated by the types of experiences that you've had from people. And it's also because you know how strong of a lover and how real of a lover you are and how strong and real of a person that you are, but people have gone out of their way so much to dehumanize you, let alone and degrade you. And so it's got you like low-key high-key scared to both do bad around certain people or with certain people, or let people know when you're vulnerable and when you need this and that, or when things aren't so great. And you also afraid to be great in front of people. You also afraid to let them know what's good going on in your life because you've had terrible reactions and experiences from that as well. But your higher self, the universe, and the Most High is trying to prove to you all that you really are in a whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell you no or where to go or say you're only dreaming. Okay, that's real spill. And so this temptation to keep yourself on a surface level with everybody is also keeping your blessings on a surface level. So a lot of you have probably been waiting for some huge shoe to drop, and it's been this juxtaposition of expecting the worst and expecting the worst amongst expecting some huge blessing to come about. And Spirit is waiting for you to realize that you are the blessing, and they are just waiting for you to. My cat is doing the most, but they're waiting for you to. I just heard be fucking for real. Be fucking for real with yourself. So specifically with this person or people, you've been slowly but surely coming to the realization that y'all are opposites that cannot coincide, that y'all belief systems don't match up. And this may also go into like political beliefs. Like you may have realized that someone that you're close to is a Trump supporter, or someone that you really admired and have had a kinship with for a long time and this and that. You may realize that you may have just found out or something that like they're a Trump supporter, or things along the lines of that. You may have just found out that someone that you really like and or are close to is an abuser, or they're just a really conniving fucking person. Like they operate on a frequency of evil, and or they use all of their good traits to support evil, or support evil people. So all of this, however it hits, and this is like getting into the overall of it all before we get into the specificities of the chariot. Y'all are needing to face the facts of y'all's disappointment that y'all have with certain connections and whoever this person or people are, and even how it may reflect and has influenced, some level of disappointment with yourself. You may have had some sort of disappointment, or may realize some level of disappointment with yourself and how you've allowed certain circumstances to convince you to treat yourself, even if it's been mindless and you just coming upon the realization that it's been going on. So, like for instance, if you used to doll yourself up a whole lot. You used to put a lot of effort into your skin regimen, your hair regimen, and meal prepping, working out, and all of that. But you realize that at some point you fell off to some degree. That is having to do with like trauma responding, and you may have been thinking to yourself and realizing, or you may come upon that realization soon for the sake of your greater good and healing, that you allowed someone or some situation to teach you that it's a waste of time to invest in yourself, in your aesthetic, and in your skin and your hair, your nails, and your body, and all of that shit. You may have let someone or something convince you that you're a waste of time, that you're not even worth listening to yourself, that you're not even worth tending to yourself in a real way, let alone others tending to you. Or and this can also show up in convincing yourself that don't nobody want to hear your problems, like what was coming up in the first video. Like don't nobody care, don't nobody want to hear that, don't nobody da 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 da. And you're not allowing yourself to have real experiences and allow real true love to be shown and given to you, to allow real nourishing and wealthy frequencies to be given to you. You may be amongst someone or some people that are your true lovers, that are true people that are a part of your soul family, but you're not allowing yourself to actually have those experiences and see the real in that without you being your real true self and being vulnerable and seeing how they come to your aid. Doesn't necessarily mean come to your rescue, but come to support you in a real way. Like if you act like you don't have feelings, people will start to treat you as such, and or you'll only give those types of people the time of day because on some level you've convinced yourself that that's all that you deserve is the surface level shit, or that's all that you can have, or that's all that you are able to operate in is surface level limited shit. And so spirit is trying to help y'all not keep having this recreation of trauma, because y'all's blessings is coming in regardless and this and that. And let me be clear, it's justice and blessings and experiences and stuff that's coming for y'all regardless. And so that's why spirit is trying to wake you up to these things so that you don't get so stuck in your past that you don't allow yourself to enjoy it, and that you end up being so dissociated that you don't even realize that you letting in any and everybody in and out your space. And some of them, it could end up in situations where if you come into a load of money from a huge job or whatever, because you're so dissociated and operating on a surface level with everything, you end up with people draining money out of your accounts and you didn't even realize it because you're not in tune. You're not being real with yourself. You're not in tune with reality. And or you end up becoming what you despise and weaponizing your gifts, be it mindfully or mindlessly, against the people that you were supposed to be helping. Because you live in so much in the past. You let in the past imprison you to limited experiences, and then therefore how you treat yourself is how you end up treating other people. And it's bringing up the movie I Can Do Bad All By Myself, and how April was, Taraji P. Henson's character, how her character was, and she was so isolated and sitting up in the house drinking and all day, drinking and smoking all day, fucking on a married man. Like she wasn't the richest in the world, but she had certain things going for her, and she was misusing her energy, her mind, body, and soul to fuck on this man who's married to someone else, living in this big ass house, and mad that there are children who are her blood that are in need. But you got this married man living up in here with you. You know what I'm saying? You have a gig where you're able to do what you love, but at the same time, you're limiting your experiences because you could be doing way more than just singing in that nightclub. But that's all you feel like you deserve, and you walking around limiting yourself and being harsh to yourself, and then that's how you showing up to other people also. Yeah. So these are definitely a lot of cautionary tales type of messages. And let's get officially into the chariot card, which is evolved Cancer energy, which is very creative, eclectic, strategic. This is the type of energy that is very good at like interior decoration, party decor, event planning, all types of shit like that, as well as travel, planning travel, excursions, places to go. Remember there was something that came up about there was someone who's a beautiful bullshitter specifically that had dreams of being a travel agent or something of the sort. So that's not a coincidence. And you yourself may have some aspirations of doing travel agent work type shit, and that could be a direct correlation as to why they are being envious, because you're wanting to do the same things that they wanted to do, but they stopped themselves from doing it. And it's like it's people who know they can't stop the experiences from happening, so they want to have a huge influence on the experience. They want to ruin your experience of it. Bringing up Jumping the Broom again, where the mama, Loretta Devine's character, she was trying to destroy the wedding, and even though she couldn't get the wedding called off, but she left a bad taste on the whole experience of the wedding. Like I heard somebody else say, like Sabrina in a real life situation, every time she would think about her wedding, she would also have to think about how her mother-in-law went out of her way to fucking traumatize her in efforts to break up the damn wedding. Like it's a forever stain on there, and that's how some people are. And they will do this at huge events for you, your birthday, your award ceremony, your wedding, all types of shit, because they know they can't stop the event, so they want to have a huge influence on the event, whether it's for good or bad. They want to be able to say that, oh, it went so good and it was because of me. And if it didn't go good, they want to also be able to say, well, I fucked it up, and that's what they deserve. Fuck them. It was bad because they deserve for it to be bad. So whatever I did to fuck it up, that's what everybody just gonna have to eat, because you shouldn't have done what you did to me for me to be fucking it up, or whatever it is. Whoever it is they blame for themselves being fucking trash. And so when we get into more of the specificities in the card, the chariot, it has to do with y'all leaving that bullshit behind, leaving the world behind, leaving that old world behind. All those redundant ass Sisyphus as towers and all of that chaos and bullshit, leaving it behind. And this is piggybacking off of the messages that came out from the first video that was talking about having to make a mindful, drastic, adamant, dedicated decision to just rebuke certain thoughts and memories from coming up. Praying to God to help you discern and even mindlessly rebuke redundant memories and redundant thoughts, disservicing circumstances, disservicing cycles, disservicing thoughts of disservicing people, memories of disservicing people, disservicing memories of disservicing people, rebuking all of that shit, rebuking and rejecting all of that shit. Motherfucker come up in your mind and you be like, oh, hell no, not today, Satan. Fuck up out of here with that. We're not thinking about it. We're going to put our attention and our energy into something else, because it's habit at this point. These people are in a habit of aggravating you, and you are in a habit of being so used to it and feeling defeated, like feeling damned if you do, damned if you don't. So you just dissociate from it and stay around it and feel like, well, I can just sit here and just tune it out and da 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 da. But no, yeah, you gotten real good at tuning shit out, and that's great, but you deserve better than that. You deserve to not subject yourself to that at all, because even though you're able to tune it out, you're gonna make yourself fucking sick. because those impacts and that influence will still be there. Just like you may be able to tune it out and make excuses for it and all this and that and the third, just because you can doesn't mean that you should. And just like you're able to do all of that shit, other motherfuckers is able to sit up and squat in your energy and reap off of your good karma despite the fact that they should be being dragged to hell. And that's not fair. So it's like, for example, if you in a living situation and you've gotten so accustomed to it, you got like a fish and water to it, moving around the noise, moving around the bullshit, the cattiness, the disrespect to your boundaries. You've gotten so accustomed to just peacefully moving what you think is peace, moving around it, stepping over it, and this and that. You done got so good at it that if it was pitch black in the house and they had all that shit thrown all over the place, you done got so goddamn good at just stepping over it. You could do it in the dark with your hands tied behind your back. But you should not have to do all of that. And amongst, regardless of the fact that you can, does not mean that you should, and it is still having negative impacts on you. And eventually, you're gonna have a catastrophic fall if you don't fucking stop. Eventually, it's going to wear out your joints and your immune system and all of this shit. It's gonna wear out your brain. This is also a way that people end up accumulating dementia and Alzheimer's and shit like that. From having to excessively dissociate from fuck shit that is going around and that they really need to remove themselves from around, but they've gotten so used to it, they've gotten so comforted in the chaos that they don't even realize that it's chaos anymore. That's also how cancers form. You see, this cancer energy is hitting in different ways. It's also how cancer is formed. It's parasitic energy, and cancer is a bunch of parasites. You feel me? So the chariot is showing up here because you need to leave. That was that literally channeled through involuntary like a motherfucker. Y'all need to leave. And I know y'all probably like, I don't have money for that right now, or oh, that's easier said than done. Yes, of course, absolutely. This is one of the ways that God is trying to show you different and show you the proof that they are on your side and that this is a new cycle. Because going back to those messages that I was talking about, you waiting for a large blessing to fall out of the sky, you waiting for this huge opportunity to come for you to open the door and set yourself free. But that large sum of money is likely not going to come. So for instance, if you've been trying to move out, that large sum of money to move out might not come until you start making the plans, until you start taking action to do so. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's the miracle of it all that they're trying to show you. You've been working and working and working and working and working, trying to build or save money for something and invest money in something. But every time you get the money, another expense come up, or you lose the money, or it's getting zapped out of your account or something. This is like the follow-up messages of the hole in your pocket type shit that was in the previous video, that was in the first video. That's because Spirit is telling you to rest. There's some type of trauma response of one, of course, it's coming from the mindset of if you don't do it, no one else will. But there's also something there of you avoiding. It's coming that some people are using their job to avoid interacting with people, to avoid interacting with your most intimate loved ones. You're using work to remain surface level with people. It's a lot on your mind, body, and soul. It's a lot on your heart and spirit that's been coming up, that's been triggering you, that you really need to talk about and be vulnerable with someone. But you're using work to avoid the people who you would be vulnerable with. Um, Take that how it resonates, but that's what just came up. That is something, it could be something from the past. It could even be something that they're doing or have been doing that you don't really like, or it makes you feel away or something. And you've just gotten so used to adjusting yourself to everybody else's shit that it's become this habit of using work. And it's coming up too, because I notice a lot of men do this. This is like this is a form of toxic masculine activity, but not only men do this, but I notice a lot of men do it. They'll use work as an excuse to stay away from their wife and kids, because they know that for one, with their wife specifically, it may be something that they're doing or not doing that their wife is going to confront with them if they stay around the house long enough. It may be, just something going on with themselves. They may not be feeling themselves. They may be having some moments and thoughts of insecurities in themselves, and they don't trust themselves to be vulnerable with their wives, so they just stay at work all the time so that they don't have to be real in such a way. Like, they may not even be cheating. It may not even be nothing that is, has to be huge or detrimental, a deal breaker, a huge fight or anything of that nature, but they will end up making things worse than what it is because they are just so fucking afraid to be vulnerable with anybody, and or they are in the habit of operating in a way that it's not for them to be vulnerable with other people. You may feel like everybody else, it's your role for everybody else to be vulnerable with you, and you just keep all of your shit to yourself and you just deal with everything yourself, and that is not fair. That's not fair, and it's also not self-love. It's self-harm. And so, yeah, that's something huge to think about and evaluate on if that resonated for you as it concerns, the possibility of you using work to avoid being vulnerable with your loved ones, because that definitely seems to tie back to those messages that was saying that a lot of you have people around you and close to you in your life that are there to be the proof that you're in a different cycle, and that people do care about you and do have what it takes to care about you the way that you deserve to be cared about and loved, but you're not allowing yourself to get those experiences, and you are also preventing them the experience as well. And so again, some of you could be doing this through work, through throwing yourself into work, overworking yourself and this and that, because you're trying to avoid being vulnerable with certain people. And that is blocking your heart chakra and therefore is causing disturbances in your money frequency because essentially they go together. So yeah. And I'm hearing this song, let's straighten it out. Sit yourself down, girl, and talk to me. Hey, how in the hell you expect me to understand if I don't even know what's wrong? Yeah, okay, that's a song channeling through, not a coincidence. And with that said, too, one or a couple of these loved ones in particular might be addressing you soon, like, hey, I can tell that something is going on with you, and you keep trying to say, oh, it's fine, it's fine. I know that you've been ripping and running and doing all of this and that. It's more than what you've been saying. You know what I'm saying? So, don't be surprised if someone approaches you like, hey, no, like approaches you in a real way, not in a monitoring spirit type of way, but in a real vulnerable manner that inevitably opens up your vulnerability type shit. Um, so yeah, just trying to see if there's anything else that I'm picking up off of this chariot card besides you need to leave. For some of you, um, and this will definitely end up being a follow-up video too, as it concerns eviction spells. And this doesn't have to be a whole elaborate light a candle, num yo ho regyo, type of ritualistic things. This can be, affirmations, the use of the book of Psalms and shit like that. I'll put it all together and I'll, likely do a reading for it and all of that. But what's coming up here is that it's some follow-up messages from the previous video concerning evicting people out of your energy. Because for some of you, this is a more of an energetic type of situation. So this can also be somewhat in the literal sense. So you may have people squatting in your energy, and or you may have people literally squatting in your home space. And for some of you, it may just be the circumstance of y'all living together, but they're operating spiritually and energetically and emotionally like a squatter. They're taking advantage and they're weaponizing the living situation to squat and pollute and disturb your mind, body, and soul's energy. And so y'all are needing to evict these individuals from your spiritual home space. And however this needs to play out in the physical, God is gonna work it out. Okay. So for some of you, I'm literally hearing that it may not be like you may want to move out just to get away from the situation. But Spirit is saying that for some of you, it's not meant for you to leave. It's meant for them to get the fuck out. You don't leave your fucking home space. Like Spirit is saying that for some of y'all, that's your home. Like for some of you, you may have got the home and you let somebody move in, but you like so overwhelmed by the situation that you like, fuck it, I'm just gonna leave and let them have it. For some of you, y'all may have literally went in on it together, but Spirit is saying that it's your home because that's what's in the stars, and also because they have forfeited their entitlement to it by the way that they've been weaponizing it against you. So justice is coming from that situation. Like I said, there needs to be eviction. The frequency of eviction needs to take place, and you are the landlord. Okay, one way or another. And like I said, I'm gonna come back with a follow-up reading video and all of that, with some affirmation and all of that, to help y'all better understand what that is, what it means for you, and how to go about it. But that's also what that chariot card is representing. You got some squatters, you got some toxic ass squatters holding a resident, redundant ass resident, toxic ass, disruptive ass resident, and your time, space, place, honey, and it's time for them to go. It is time for them to go. And for others of you, you gonna leave and you still gonna need to like evict them out of your energy and like cloak your new space type shit, put up like spiritual fences to keep certain people and energies away. Because it's given that this collective attracts a lot of people who are beautiful bullshitters. And they know that they cannot destroy your blessings. They know that they can't stop your shine. So they want to influence it one way or another. And it ain't for you. So child, tisk. But I believe it's about that time where I remind y'all, you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. You teach a man a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Y'all go fishing, baby. And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry. And I am thoroughly appreciative of the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you'll be one of the first to be back to these queenly quotas for the next time. And be sure to bless that comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in all ways like love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.